Have you ever looked at a loved one, your parent, your grandparent, and felt something was changing, but couldn't quite explain what? Maybe they seemed more tired, maybe they were eating less, or maybe they just weren't quite themselves anymore. Most people assume that death in old age comes suddenly, without warning. But that's rarely true. The body often whispers before it ever screams. Subtle signs can appear months, even a full year, before life reaches its final stage. Unfortunately, these signs are so quiet, so easily mistaken for just getting older, that families often miss them. And by the time they realize what was really happening, it's too late to prepare. Too late to have that one last conversation, to make peace, to create a memory that could last a lifetime. That's why this video matters. Today, we're going to uncover the 5 most overlooked warning signs that an elderly person may be in their final year of life. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. It's about love. And it's about giving you the tools to show up, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, for the people who matter most. If you care about someone aging, this might be one of the most important videos you'll ever watch. Please consider subscribing to Life in Words, where we help you navigate aging with wisdom, compassion, and strength. 1. Significant weight loss. When the body quietly starts letting go. One of the earliest and most telling signs that someone may be in their final year of life is unexpected, unintentional weight loss. At first, it might be easy to overlook. Their clothes start to hang more loosely. Their face appears a little more hollow. Perhaps they leave more food on their plate than usual. Families often chalk it up to getting older, assuming a smaller appetite is just part of aging. But there's more to it than that. Weight loss in the elderly, especially when it's not caused by diet or deliberate change, can signal that the body is beginning to shut down. As we age, a slight loss of muscle mass is expected. But when the decline is rapid or sustained, it usually points to deeper physiological changes. The digestive system may no longer absorb nutrients properly. The body might struggle to break down proteins or maintain muscle. As a result, strength diminishes, immunity weakens, and the risk of infection or falls rises sharply. There's also a neurological component. Seniors often lose their sense of taste and smell, making food less enjoyable. Add to that a reduced sense of hunger, because the body stops signaling the brain when it's time to eat, and meals become more of a chore than a comfort. Sometimes, even serious underlying diseases like heart failure, kidney disease, cancer, or advanced dementia are to blame. These illnesses often manifest with early weight loss long before more obvious symptoms appear. Families try their best, offering favorite meals, high-calorie supplements, urging their loved one to eat just a little more. But when the weight continues to fall despite every effort, it's important to recognize that this isn't just about nutrition anymore. It's the body transitioning. At this point, forcing large meals can cause more harm than good. Instead, shift the focus to comfort. Soft, easy-to-eat foods, small, frequent snacks, and hydration. What matters most isn't the number on the scale, but preserving dignity and quality of life. If you've noticed a loved one growing thinner, weaker, or losing interest in eating, don't ignore it. This could be the body's quiet way of saying it's preparing for the final stage. Understanding this now can help you respond not with panic, but with compassion, presence, and love. 2. Extreme fatigue and weakness. When simple tasks feel impossible. Another deeply concerning sign that an elderly person may be entering their final year is a level of fatigue that feels bone deep, one that rest can't fix. This isn't the typical tiredness after a long walk or a busy afternoon. It's a profound exhaustion that makes getting out of bed feel like climbing a mountain, where walking a few steps becomes a daunting task. And even simple activities, like brushing their hair or holding a conversation, require more energy than they have. This kind of fatigue is the body's way of conserving energy. As we approach the final stage of life, the internal systems, heart, lungs, metabolism, begin to slow down. The heart may not pump as efficiently, reducing oxygen delivery to muscles. The body no longer prioritizes physical activity. It shifts into a preservation mode, channeling remaining resources into basic life-sustaining functions. You may notice your loved one sleeping more during the day or taking longer to wake up mentally. They may feel alert in the morning, only to crash by mid-afternoon. It's also common to see a lack of stamina during daily routines they used to do effortlessly. This isn't laziness, it's biology. But beyond the physical toll, the emotional weight of fatigue is often just as heavy. Many older adults feel frustrated or ashamed that they can no longer manage tasks they once took pride in. This loss of independence can lead to isolation. They may withdraw from social gatherings, avoid phone calls, or stop participating in hobbies, not because they've lost interest, but because they simply don't have the strength. For family members, watching this unfold can be heartbreaking. It's tempting to encourage them to push through or try to keep them active. But at this stage, rest isn't a sign of giving up. It's a form of healing. If your loved one is experiencing this kind of deep, persistent fatigue that doesn't improve with sleep, it may be time to shift your priorities. Let go of expectations. Focus on comfort. Create quiet, meaningful moments that don't require movement or effort. If this reminds you of someone you care about, please comment the number 2 below. And remember, sometimes the best gift you can give isn't more activity. It's the permission to rest and the reassurance that they are deeply loved, exactly as they are. 3. Cognitive confusion or withdrawal. When the mind begins to drift. One of the most heartbreaking signs that someone may be approaching their final year is a noticeable change in how they think, communicate, or connect with the world. This isn't just forgetting where they placed their keys or mixing up dates. It's a deeper, more persistent mental fog, a slow drifting away from clarity, routine, and relationships. You might notice your loved one struggling to follow a conversation, repeating themselves more often, or appearing lost in familiar surroundings. They may forget names they've known for years, lose track of time entirely, or suddenly seem unsure about where they are or what they were doing. These changes can begin months, even a full year, before more visible physical decline sets in. This confusion isn't always caused by Alzheimer's or dementia. As the body slows down, so does blood flow to the brain. With less oxygen and fewer nutrients reaching vital areas, brain function naturally declines. This leads to difficulty making decisions, solving problems, or even processing emotions. One of the most subtle but painful aspects of this phase is emotional withdrawal. You may notice your loved one talking less, avoiding eye contact, or choosing to sit in silence even when surrounded by family. They aren't being cold or distant, they're simply overwhelmed. Conversations become tiring. Noises feel overstimulating. Eventually, their world narrows to what's right in front of them, and even that can become blurry. Mood shifts are common too. Some seniors become irritable, anxious, or restless. Others seem unusually calm or indifferent. This emotional flatness often reflects the brain's decreasing ability to regulate feelings and reactions. For families, this stage can feel like a premature goodbye. It's painful to watch someone fade mentally, especially when their body still seems present. But it's important to remember, even if they can't find the words, your presence still matters. A gentle touch, a calm voice, a familiar scent, these can still bring comfort. If someone you love is becoming more withdrawn or confused, don't dismiss it. It could be their way of quietly stepping back from the world. If you're still with us, please comment the number 3 below to let us know. Your experience, your story, could help others walking this difficult but important path. 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. When the body struggles to defend itself. As a person nears the final stage of life, one of the most telling physical signs is a weakened immune system. You may start noticing that your loved one is getting sick more often. What used to be a simple cold now lingers for weeks. A small cut takes much longer to heal. Minor infections become more frequent, more intense, and more difficult to treat. This isn't coincidence. It's a biological signal that the body is losing its ability to repair and protect itself. In youth and even in healthy aging, the immune system mounts a strong defense against bacteria, viruses, and injury. But in the final year of life, that defense system becomes sluggish. White blood cells don't respond as quickly. Circulation slows. The delivery of oxygen and nutrients to tissues is compromised. Common infections in the elderly during this time include urinary tract infections, UTIs, respiratory illnesses like pneumonia, skin infections, and even gum or oral issues. These may not always look typical. For example, a fever may not show up at all. Instead, the person may seem unusually tired, more confused than usual, or may lose interest in eating. Subtle signs that something is wrong. Wounds that once closed in a few days now stay open, become irritated, or reappear. Bruises last longer. Even pressure sores from sitting or lying in one position too long can quickly turn into dangerous infections if not managed carefully. Families often respond with urgency, calling doctors, demanding stronger antibiotics, or pushing for hospital stays. And while treatment is sometimes necessary, it's equally important to recognize when the focus needs to shift. In the final months of life, the goal often moves from cure to comfort. Hydration, good hygiene, clean bedding, moisturized skin, and a stress-free environment can do more for someone's well-being than another round of medication. These small acts of care may not reverse the illness, but they preserve dignity and reduce suffering. If you've seen a loved one battling repeated infections or slow recovery, it might be more than just bad luck. Their body may be sending a message. If you're still watching and finding this information helpful, comment the number 4 below. Your voice reminds others that they're not alone, and neither are you. 5. Major changes in breathing or circulation. When the body begins to power down. Perhaps the most visible and alarming sign that someone may be in the final months or weeks of life is a noticeable change in their breathing or circulation. It's the body's way of quietly beginning to shut down, redirecting its limited energy toward only the most vital functions. You may first notice that your loved one's hands and feet feel cold more often, even when the room is warm. Their skin may appear pale, bluish, or mottled, especially around the fingers, toes, nose, or lips. This occurs because the heart is no longer pumping as forcefully, and the body prioritizes blood flow to vital organs over the extremities. Breathing patterns often change too. You may hear long pauses between breaths, or sudden irregular rhythms that shift from rapid to shallow. One pattern, known as Cheney-Stokes respiration, involves cycles of deep breathing, followed by temporary periods where breathing stops altogether. Though it can be startling to witness, it's a natural part of the body's decline. Simple movements, like sitting up, changing positions, or even speaking, may suddenly leave them breathless. You might see them breathing through their mouth more often, coughing persistently, or complaining of tightness in the chest. In some cases, fluid builds up in the lungs, creating a rattling or gurgling sound, often referred to as the death rattle. It's not painful, but it signals that the lungs are no longer able to clear themselves effectively. For family members, these signs can be distressing. It's instinctive to want to act, urge deeper breaths, call for emergency care, or find ways to fix the problem. But in many cases, these symptoms are not reversible. They are signs that the body is moving toward its natural end. What can be done is to provide comfort, propping them up with pillows to ease their breathing, using a humidifier to moisten dry air, offering cool water in small sips, and simply being present. Sometimes, the most powerful medicine is reassurance, the gentle reminder that they are not alone. If you've witnessed these changes, please comment the number 5 below. It lets others know they're not facing this journey alone, and neither are you. Final thoughts. Love, not fear, in life's final chapter. Now that you've learned these 5 subtle but powerful signs, significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive confusion, frequent infections, and changes in breathing or circulation, I invite you to take a deep breath and pause. None of us are ever truly ready to say goodbye, but understanding what's happening inside the body can replace fear with clarity and anxiety with compassion. These signs are not meant to alarm you. They're meant to help you see, so you can show up with more grace, more presence, and more love. Because when the end is near, it's not about doing more. It's about being more. More patient, more accepting, more intentional with your time, your words, your hugs. You don't need to fix what can't be fixed. What your loved one needs most is comfort, dignity, and the certainty that they are not alone. So take this knowledge and use it to create space for quiet conversations, shared memories, and tender goodbyes that leave no regrets. And if this video helped you even just a little, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might be walking a similar path. Your support helps us continue creating honest, compassionate content for families everywhere. And before you go, tell us in the comments, what's one thing you learned today? And how will it help you care for someone you love? We read every word, and your stories inspire others more than you know. Thank you for watching. And remember, even in life's final chapter, love is still the most powerful medicine.